Om Namah Shivaya. I'm Nirmala and here in Delhi with some practice tips today for the shoulder stand, Sarvangasana. I'll share a couple of practical tips and then we'll talk about a couple of subtle things, how we focus in the shoulder stand. So it will be a combination of the very subtle with the very gross. So sometimes people have a little difficulty coming into the shoulder stand. So we'll take a moment just to show a couple of things that may help, especially if you don't have a teacher there ready to help you if you're alone. The first is that you might do, as Kausalya is demonstrating here, a little bit of a rock back and forth, bending the knees, hugging the back of the legs, and rocking 2 or 3 times back and forth from hips to shoulders, maybe pausing at each end of that rock actually. And you'll see that in this way you can get a little bit accustomed to coming up onto the shoulders and to maybe support yourself there for a few moments. If you are comfortable to come up, you'll stop then, position the hands on the back. You may notice that the body might not feel ready yet just to be completely straight. That's fine. So supporting your back and just breathing here and then coming down with as much control as you can. So if you're alone, that's a good way of coming up. Another way that you might come up is by using the wall for some support. And so I've asked Kausalya to show today. She's going to position her mat close to the wall, sit very close to the wall so that the bottom is right up against the wall. And in fact, if you lie in a kind of fetal position with your bottom touching the wall is a good place to start. And then swivel around, bringing your legs up the wall. Now it may take a moment to sort of get yourself in the right position. And you might in fact just feel comfortable with the legs up against the wall. That's completely fine for our purpose as well. So with the legs up the wall and the hands on the floor, you step the feet down a little bit and then push on the feet, lifting the hips up. And you're sort of pushing the pelvis over the face in that direction. And so if you're comfortable there, after some time you'll position the hands on the back, supporting the back, just as we do in the shoulder stand. And from there you can take a few steps more. You can practice taking one leg away from the wall, other leg away from the wall, supporting yourself. And then you can use the wall to come back down again in a very comfortable way by taking the feet back to the wall, lowering down. So this is a good way to practice. Now, the shoulder stand is a kind of important asana for us. We focus a lot on this throat region and in fact the base of the throat here. So if we see the collarbones just above that in this little notch at the base of the throat. Now, many people when they're doing the shoulder stand quite well, if they've got some experience, they'll see the body coming straight, and so you can see with Kausalya as well, that there's no gap between the chin and the chest. Now, it might feel as if it might feel that they're actually touching. They might not be strictly speaking touching, but we have a feeling that the chin and the chest are coming together. And so that is the experience when we hold the shoulder stand for some time, is that we're actually making a lock. Now, importantly, we're not pushing the chin into the chest, but lifting the chest up towards the chin. And so this is part of the practice. And it helps us to focus in this region at the base of the throat. So holding the shoulder stand, we might focus on the inhalation and the exhalation and feeling that breath passing through that place, maybe feeling as if it's producing a small vibration at that place as we practice. So this is a very good thing to focus on. And so we're talking about the Vishuddha Chakra. And so the Vishuddha Chakra is all about communication. It's all about speaking the truth, knowing when not to speak, because there's as much skill involved in knowing when I should not speak, when I should be a little silent. So there's many issues, and if you imagine yourself, if you experience yourself in the shoulder stand, we're not really able to speak there. So it's a very introspective asana. It takes our attention inside, away from the everyday things. And we can start by focusing on the breath there, or focusing, as I said, at this spot itself. I want to show you one more thing today in the practice, and that is something called Viparita Mudra. And that looks, if I don't know, I might think it looks like the shoulder stand, but it's actually not the shoulder stand. And so I'm asking Kausalya to demonstrate here. She'll come up, and instead of placing the hands on the back, she'll place the hands on the hips themselves, so that the body is not coming straight, but is more at an angle, is bent. And in this position, we don't get the chest reaching the chin in the same way, but we have a kind of space at the throat. And so with that space at the throat, we focus there for some time. Some very interesting things happen. And we can in fact imagine that with the hips bent a little bit and the legs angled, we can imagine the energy moving from the hips down to this throat region and back up again. So this is a very interesting way to practice and become more aware of the Vishuddha Chakra in the practice. So your experience may be different from someone else's experience and from my experience. So see what you feel. And lastly, after we take a little time here, focusing at the throat region, we want to do our counter pose, as you know, which is the fish, Matsyasana. And there, Kausalya is now showing we're opening the throat region very wide. So that area that was closed down is now open wide, and we're focusing there and feeling that expansion, taking a little time there. So I'd like you to try this. Focus at the Vishuddha Chakra. Let us know in the comments what your experiences are. It's very powerful to focus on the chakras in the practice. And as I said, you might find something interesting. You might find something more about yourself or something that you didn't expect. So I hope this is helpful. Om Namah Shivaya.